This is meant as a joke. So this is not actually a proper guide. Oh, that's good. Because my understanding was that it was going to be a crap guide. It was going to be funny, but it was going to be how you play. So if you want to actually learn how to play D&D, this is not the way to do it. Any jobs I throw out, your favorite aspect or ways of playing D&D are merely for comedic purposes. Everyone plays differently. There's nothing wrong with playing how you'd like to. Anyway, enjoy. This is so funny.
It's too cold outside. What shadowy hints of my easy-to-miss social life is dying, and I also want to argue about how pop culture characters fit into alignment charts. So it's time to make like a bunch of famous voice actors and Dungeons & Dragons. Odds are...
I have seen the alignment charts. I didn't know those were D&D specific, but let's go. I've seen them with like Doctor Who and all sorts of like completely unrelated pop culture stuff.
Plenty of you dorkbags have heard of the hobby, but have as little understanding about how it works as anyone over 60 has about being content with living as a single childless adult who doesn't care about where they live so long as it's a roof over their head and the neighbors don't shout out racial slurs.
I know people
unless
like
it's at
this.
half-elves, the filthy, knife-eared mongrel mutts. So print out some character sheets, go shopping for some loaded dice, pack some expired snacks, call up all those friends you can only tolerate, and put on your favorite wizarding hat. It's
You guys have friends?
time to do some motherfucking role-playing. Welcome to a crap guide to D&D.
Look at this animation! Barbarians!
Do you like hitting
I'm gonna turn this down a little bit more.
things? What am I saying? Of course you do. Everybody does. I most certainly do. All the time. Like now. And hitting things is the best thing about D&D. You can hit literally anything you want. Better.
I know that, with barbarians, all I know is that Karlach was one, and I kind of vaguely remember how she played.
Yet, you can hit it with a big fuck-off axe while flying into a bloodthirsty rage so potent you could be forgiven for mistaking it for some kind of super rabies. The barbarian is the best class for hitting everything and everyone hard enough they explode into a huge puff of confetti or a shower of blood and organs. What's the difference? They're pretty much the same thing. You get a D12 for your hit die, one of the only times you'll ever use a D12. But it does mean you'll be soaking up hits better than my pillow soaks up tears after I take a look in the mirror for a few
So they're tanky and they make bleed and very tanky.
seconds. You start with just about every important combat proficiency and any weapon of your choice. And if you're taking recommendations, I highly suggest going for the dual-wield chainsaw shotgun laser earrings with detachable missile
I want to play D&D.
launchers and drink dispensers.
They're earrings.
And they have built-in cup holders. Look at that. No tool proficiencies, but who cares?
I guess you can kind of, yeah. Not actually. This is unfortunate.
Nobody uses tools anyway. You pick them to add to your character for backstory purposes and then forget they exist because you only ever roll for skill checks anyway, you lazy, thoughtless gobblebright. Yes, I just made that up, and it's what you are, you stinky Feigl bitch. In fact, who even needs armor? Your pure, unadulterated chutzpah will block enemy blows better than even the shiniest of chainmail bikinis. Better yet, you have spider sense, which assists in you avoiding traps, spells, obligatory social events, and laundry. And of course, the signature trait of the barbar is being able to enter a ferocious frenzy of force that foes will fear for all their fannies. During your rage, you may be easier to hit, but at the game that you are better at hitting everything else. And not just that, your muscles grow to the size of crag-faced garmoofies.
That's a made-up word.
I don't care that the things
I enjoy large people. I like muscles.
I'm using for analogies aren't real. Intelligence is a dump stat anyway. That's why mine is the number that comes after 3. And now you know how to play barbarian. You're welcome.
What? Okay, this is fast. This is awesome. This clearly isn't teaching you how to play D&D, but it's teaching you about the actual, like, classes. A bard. All right, we're gonna continue.
Frail spellcasters, whack. Close quarters combatants, whack. Immobile tanks, whack.
No way,
I'm tight as fuck. First time playing D&D, I realized I'm too cool for any sort of specialized role. But that was only because I hadn't figured out.
I'm assuming bard is for the people who like to put in like headphones and like fantasize power fantasies.
That there's only one way to play it right. With a sword in one hand and a harp in the other, shouting my greatness from the rooftops, laying bitches and slaying witches. Or is it laying witches and slaying bitches? I can't quite remember. I was too busy giving the tavern owner a reason to stay in business. Welcome to a crap guide to D&D.
I'm dead inside, not the dead. I'm turning this down even more, oh my god.
Master of None is still better than someone who only has one gimmick and has to hide for the rest of the fight because they've run out of class features and spell slots. If the sword and shield were an RPG class, it would be the bard, one that's...
Wait, let me read this stuff. This is a fast-paced, very spoony, likes roast cooler, roast enemies. I'm dropping my diss track right now.
Sword and shield were an RPG class, it would be the bard, one that's good at doing everything and doing everyone. You can cast spells, learn tons of skills, support allies, harm enemies, allies, support enemies, woo crowds, boo crowds, and most importantly, lay dragons. It's the most versatile class, and its various archetypes allow you to fill literally any role.
Fall dragon, you know, I can take on a dragon. Like, you mean in a fight?
So who even needs anything else? Need DPS? College of Swords. Need a tank? College of Valor. Want to make rogues useless? College of Whispers. Need to get good at the game? College of Sit Down, Shut Up, and Listen.
College.
Listen, your most important feature, Bardic Inspiration, is like the little girl Wolverine version of the Big Daddy Logan, and is absolutely game-breaking. By being a radiant concentration of pure awesomeness, you can allow anyone else an additional die to roll and add to almost anything. Think that weak-ass wizard won't be able to make the con save against that poison attack? Inspired. The fighter needs to land the killing blow on an enemy with a high armor class. Inspired. Your wingman just told you about a hot piece of sliz that walked into a high-class tavern and that he needs you to hype him up to be able to talk his way in and maybe nab a few extras on the way out for you. You best bet your ass that homie's gonna be inspired. In fact,
a good wingman.
Screw your wingman, you can do it yourself. Jack of all trades and expertise means whatever you're bad at, you're suddenly good at. And whatever you're good at, you're suddenly unbelievably amazing at. Nothing can stop you, well, maybe except a pretty face. Yourself. By playing D&D, you automatically sign an unwritten contract that forces you to write your character to fall under the purest stereotype of whatever class you pick. Everybody knows you have to follow that contract or else Matt Mercer will sneak into your house and throw—
I'm sorry, what did that say?
Type of whatever class you pick. Everybody knows—
I agree to play a horny bard. Sign your name right here.
You have to follow that contract or else Matt Mercer will sneak into your house and throw foam noodles at you from the corner of your living room.
Oh boy.
All wizards are smartass eggheads, all rogues are kleptomaniacs, and all bards are lust-compelled sex deviants. It's just the rules, I don't make them. And of course, the main gimmick of the bard is that it's artistically expressive in some way. People usually think this means musician. That's because their brain are like this, while my brain are like this. They can sing, dance, paint, prance, make a pretty dirt drawing with a lance. Plenty of ways to further enhance the battlefield if given the right chance. Now you know how to play bard, you're welcome.
Oh! The fire! He has a Patreon? Ooh! Perhaps this is something that if you are interested in supporting his content, you should look into. Ooh! Look at these. We got some splode waggings in the chat. You guys twerking? Are you bard players? I hope you guys haven't heard of the most recent phenomenon on TikTok called dwerking. Alright, we're going into cleric. So we said that bard is the support class, but isn't this the support class where you're actually healing people? Or...
Now this may sound rather odd, but sometimes the best in the squad is the one with the cross who can smite like a boss by harnessing the bitch slap of God. With a mace that even ogres will flee, you'll cast and crush things with glee. Some think they're not strong and those people are wrong.
Bars?
Welcome to a crap guide to D&D.
Bars? Out of the blue?
The support is someone everyone wants on their team, but nobody wants to be. Lucky for you, the cleric is like a support that decided to buy a taser after being too fed up with being told to heal the barbarian who ran into a 1v20 encounter. Clerics are the...
So they actually do damage. They actually are able to do damage, and have an impact, so it's not like only support. When I was, growing up, I used to play MMOs. I would play MapleStory a lot, and my main was a cleric heal DPS.
The religious fandoms in the D&D world that are so crazy into their deities that they've turned their fangirling power into something that can actually pack a punch. Having the same armor proficiencies as a fighter and the self-sustaining capabilities of a paladin that's been juicing with unicorn hooves and dragonborn acid. They have so many teeth-grindingly infuriating spells at their disposal on top of all that dungeon masters all over the world universally agree to ban clerics from the game so as to not make encounters absolute nightmares to give proper challenge without throwing approximately 20 black dragons at one cleric alone to keep it balance.
They're that strong. There's no way that this cleric is just... That clerics are actually that... Guiding Bolt. I do... My D&D knowledge of skills is mostly based off of Baldur's Gate 3. In the 3rd edition they've been tweaked. They're solid. They have Christian powers, the power of God and
spells
anime.
like Flash Gordon, Buddy Cop Weapon, and Does My Hand Smell Bad to You are so stupidly strong at such a low level it's easy to forget why so many uncultured swine consider the cleric a designated healer. Anyone who does has either never played the class or considered the sword and shield a viable weapon in Monster Hunter.
They probably buffed them or made them strong because they're thinking like, oh, this is a boring class to play, just healing, you want to actually have impact? I don't know. But
wait, unlike most other classes, you pick your archetype at first level, and you have oodles, canoodles, and toaster strudels to choose from. To summarize, you have heel bitch, nerd, sunburn, and my axe, nobody dies, nobody cares, and a couple of more that I'm too lazy to mention. Seriously, with how versatile and independently strong you can build a cleric, you can make up an entire party full of purely priests, call it the Amen, and bust down Tiamat's door demanding her lunch money. And she would just build her own toilet to give herself swirlies so she wouldn't have to endure the kind of bullying you're about to give her. Channel divinity gives you special limited use effects depending on your domain. They can be as dumb as turn undead, where the power of the gods can make a zombie run away from you like it's regained its ability to smell and realizes you've been sleeping with your Jesus blanket that you haven't washed in months.
We're gamers, okay? We don't need to shower daily. One's in the chat if you don't shower daily.
Or as useful as Guiding Strike, where you can choose to add 10 billion points to your attack roll so you'll be able to swat one fly with another fly's deuce being whipped around on a string like a yo-yo strung around your pinky toe while blindfolded.
Guys, this wasn't your opportunity to say 1. I was not... We want to actually be typing 2. Okay, I don't shower every single day, but I try. You knew they would! No, we're getting more ones in the chat. We're getting even more ones. Oh my god. VOD watchers, type 1 in the comments. Seriously. 1 in the comments, 1 in the chat.
The only downside is that you get a pitiful amount of uses, like a gym 2 weeks after New Year's. And finally, the most notable trait of the cleric is divine intervention. Where if you are a good boy or girl all year, praying happy thoughts and burning that dank holy kush, if you wish upon a star, the clouds in the heavens will part and the literal gods will stop playing their game of Jenga to fix whatever dumb problems you and your party have gotten into. And then avoid you for 7 days, debating whether or not to write you a holy restraining order after seeing you piss your pants fangirling over your religious senpai noticing you. And now you know how to play cleric. Amen.
Ooh! That was quite the ass. There's so much to unpack here. I didn't know clerics were ever this strong. I think, so basically, the way this works is, 6 years ago, clerics might have been crazy. It's okay to skip a shower a day once in a while. Yeah, no, guys, I'm not actually shaming you. If you don't, like, leave your house, and you're not really doing much physical activity, you don't need to shower every single day. Like, but if you're cooking a lot and you get all that smoke on you and you're exercising and you're leaving your house, you're gonna want to, but like not everybody. Different walks for different lifestyles. Okay, we're on to druid. There are a lot of like the peace-loving classes.
I don't understand tree huggers. What has the environment ever done for us? It's not like it provides oxygen, resources for tools, housing, clothes, food, and technology or anything important like that. And
actually, he's right. Why do we try to protect this thing?
It's definitely not like it's home to various species of plants and animals required to keep the ecosystem alive to continue to feed mankind's insatiable appetite to destroy, consume, and rebuild in his own image, ultimately resulting in the annihilation of the very world that brought him into existence. No.
Yeah, he's right. That's definitely not the case.
Oh, fuck all that. The environment clearly exists for us to skin innocent animals that are minding their own business so we can wear them as high fashion. I mean, just look at bears. All they do is steal my chips and shit in my backyard.
I can't continue
well, guess what? Yogi,
the facade.
It's payback time. And what better way to give it than undercover as one of their own? They'll never see it coming. Welcome to a crap guide to D&D.
That's right. The druid is a class in which you can invade the environment pretending not to have human values that naturally want to destroy it. That is sneaky. This is a sneaky little class.
The druid is what happens when a ranger decides to fully commit to being a furry/hippie instead of just half-assing it because they're only trying to impress that sexy dryad they met in the forest that one time. They're primarily...
Is this the furry class?
Primarily a casting class, but unlike clerics with their holy senpai, warlocks with their sugar daddies, bards with their awesomeness, or sorcerers with their rich magical parents' inheritance, druid's magic comes from Mother Nature, and from first-hand experience I can tell you now she's an absolute bitch. Shut up, bitch. At second...
Oh! The thunder. You can't knock him down. Can't keep him down.
Level, you can fulfill every furry's dream and transform into an animal, but not just any old lameo neon-colored oversaturated mess like Arjun Darksnout the rainbow dog with an indie band t-shirt over there. No, I mean...
Making fun of furries in 2025 doesn't fly no more.
Cool animals like my original character, Grabblejean, the nocturnal giant toad. Don't steal! Your archetype will be based around whether you want to be part of the forces of nature or if you want it to work for you. To list them off, land for different flavors of spells, moon for when you want to take your persona to the next level, dreams for if you secretly want to play a cleric, shepherd for if you want to be king of the wigglers, spores for if you want to reenact The Last of Us, and twilight for that sweet edge. Just like all the classes, your features improve with your level. Where druids differ is that their animal-related features mean that the beasts you summon or wear fursuits of don't necessarily...
I think, yeah, it was 2019.
Get stronger, but rather they're thrown into the garbage and replaced by things with increasingly more fleas. Moreover, they gain additional features a regular animal couldn't imagine if it was high on devilry, which gets fucking terrifying at later levels. Imagine this scenario. You're walking in the woods, there's no one around, and your phone is dead. Suddenly, spiky thorns sprout out around you, making movement painful. An adorable bunny rabbit sitting in front of you, seemingly harmless, suddenly starts shooting giant bees out of its eyeballs and turning the tree branches around you into black mambas. Design an encounter for that, Dungeon Master. And now you know how to play druid. You're welcome.
What can I say? Yeah, About the furry thing, I refuse to view media in the context of today's values. I can understand that something existed in 2019 and was acceptable then. Next. Fighter. I've done like a couple campaigns, but most of them were really short, a couple of weeks. And one of the campaigns I did was, I was an echo fighter Goliath named Zoo, who had like medium intelligence. It was very large. And then I can make another large Zoo with ZU. Can make another large woman. Large woman number 1, large woman number 2. Echo fighters are pretty darn strong. It felt really busted, actually. Having the second one. I love my basic ass bitch fighter. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good to know what you like. Like, we all have playstyles we like better than the others. Whoa!
Fighter-Man.
Fighter-Man.
Overall, he's fairly bland.
Damn! Us all talking about how we were. This is our preferred one.
Look out. He is a Fighter-Man.
Fighter-Man. He indeed is. He's a bit of a fighter-man.
Gee, I wonder
or
what
a fighter-woman.
Goddamn mystery. Who knows? I'll say it because nobody else will. If you pick fighter, odds are you're also likely to pick human because you're basic like that. And
okay, I get it.
That's not just me saying that, it's science. Human fighters pop out of the woodwork like rabbits on Viagra because
shit,
people
there's
are
actual
incapable
data.
of choosing something unique even when they're given options like playing as a kobold paladin who prays to asteroids just before they crush an unfortunate man's cabbage cart. Just look at me, for example, artistic phenomenon and originator of the satirical talk fast genre of videos. What do you mean?
It is, he makes a good point. I will say that, in my opinion, it might be good that you see a lot of human fighters because they're probably beginners. If you're seeing a lot of human fighters, you might be getting a lot of beginners who are told that human fighter, which I was told, by the way, that human fighter is one of the easiest things to do. So, just something to think about.
I mean, I'm not the first one to come up with the idea. I don't need these lies coming out of you. Everything I make is completely original and everybody knows it. Come on, Master Chief, let's get the fuck out of here. Fighters are the purest essence of the combat side of D&D.
That was definitely Metroid.
All about hitting things hard and fast, getting into the thick of the fight, and hey, you get out of here, we're not talking about you. They're all focused around rolling more dice than a Limp Bizkit song, as well as being straight up easy baby mode because you get to start using any weapon you want, heavy armor, some ranged options, a free cheesecake, and a complimentary belly rub just for picking the class. Seriously, everything about it is geared towards being so noob-friendly, even a Monster Hunter longsword player will be laughing at you. If you feel so inclined during combat, you can heal yourself, attack twice, and take a second action to attack twice again, all in the same turn. And that's at 5th level. Not to mention you getting more ability score increases than any other class means that if you go a turn without hitting at least something, then you must have made some kind of D&D sin that angered Gary Gygax, like getting weight
you fucked up.
Dice or putting milk in before your cereal. Fighter flavors allow you to pick
I don't
how
mind
you
the
want to
milk
be hitting
before
the
cereal.
bad guys, like being a magic bitch that can actually take a hit, or ride a bitch while you cut down a fool, or go all out sensei mode and just decide you want advantage for every attack this turn, so you're going to absolutely destroy a bitch. But odds are, knowing most fighters out there, champion is the best bet because it's basic. Yo, we heard you like fighter, so we put more fighter in your fighter. Just be sure to make your character a rough and grizzle-faced middle-aged straight white man with a two-handed sword and a mysterious and/or tragic and/or vengeful backstory just to
damn
fit the bill. Don't want to get too creative now, do we?
He's roasting people. Yeah, I get it. If you play D&D enough and you see this enough, you see, oh my god, another one, another fighter, grungy bearded man. That might get a little old, but I will say I've done 2 fighters. I did a D&D, I did a fighter campaign, and then that was really, really short. Then when I played Baldur's Gate, I did a fighter. However, she was, I did a Goliath on my first, and then I did a Dragonborn in Baldur's Gate. So, you know, I'm original. I don't just do what everyone else does, I say, coping, breathing heavy as I feel the originality leave my soul. No, but my values, I believe I'm unique. Alright, this is Monk. Drawing sounds? Oh. Ooh.
Why? Because bitch, you're taking too long. Welcome to a crap guide to D&D.
Hold on, give me a second. What? Why does this lizard have chaps on? Why are there crotchless chaps on this lizard? Am I mistaken? Am I mistaking this art? Why not? That's his Monster Hunter character. That's not a lizard. That's not a lizard. They just dress like that. He's a monk. Okay, he's a monster. This is the character. That's just a hat. Holy shit. You're right. That isn't a lizard. That is a hat. Oh my god. Holy shit. You had me fooled. You actually had me fooled.
Fighting is like...
I remember that one time I RP'd out a whole invitation sequence with my patron possessing me and telling the dragon to fuck off. I nat 20 the invitation check at the GM was like, yeah, that dragon shits its pants. That dragon just fucking soils itself. There's some such good moments. Rolling low or high is like actually, even if it's not in your favor, it can be so fun.
Fighting is like a science and can be used for either side of the moral spectrum. It can be used for evil, like punctuating arguments, expressing a salty loss, and beating up nerds, or it can be used for good, like self-defense, artistic expression, and beating up nerds. And monks are those who have trained heavily in the nerd beating up science of mixed martial arts.
Okay. Beating up nerds is both good and bad at the same time. It's Schrodinger's moral confoundry.
Sort of traditional filthy weapon proficiencies, and instead opting for wanting to punch, bam, boom, slam, kick, punch stuff. You start with no armor because like a barbarian you have...
Okay, I have to say, Jocat has some really crazy art skill, because look at this. This guy knows where muscles go. That's kind of nutty.
Barbarian, you have the ability to deflect and dodge attacks with the power of your unconstrained birthday suit. But unlike Barbarian, you don't have to rely on the pathetic material world to explodify goblins. You have your knuckles. Martial arts training means you can serve up extra punchables for the bad guys as a bonus action, so no matter how you're doing as Mama said, you'll be dishing out more pain-induced fistings than two lesbians who consider watching porn as a reasonable substitute for sex ed.
Oh dear. That was a lot to take in right there.
But it's not all coochie destruction. The monk is a slippery piece of work who's really good at avoiding any oncoming fistings, like a millennial trying to get their life together to avoid self-care.
I should have expected with the monk that there would be a ton of fisting references. I get it. What do they do? They use their fists!
By catching them if they're a fist projectile, or dodging out of the way if it's an area of fists. As you grow stronger, you can translate a fist if it's punching in a different language, and avoid any infections if the fister forgot to take a shower that night. As a monk, your shtick is the key feature, but since I can't come up with any way to make this section much funnier, and also because key translates to poop in Thai, that's how I'm going to refer to it from now on. You gain more and more poop as you level up, and you can spend your poopy points on various skills to do all sorts of things, like stun people, reroll saves, mask yourself and turn invisible, and any other number of crazy things based on which anime you want to imitate. I would recommend Kensei so you could use the dual-wield chainsaw shotgun laser earrings if it weren't for the fact that every other archetype was just cooler in every way, wearing fancy outfits and taking the time to actually learn how to fist properly. Oh man, what a tough decision. Do I want to use a pokey stick or do I want to fire Hadoukens and Kamehameha Blast? What an enticing decision. I'm really gonna have to think about. Don't stop! Don't stop! We're in luck now! And now you know how to play.
Not the... What is that? The spirit bomb. Kensei is so bad. That's a shame.
Monk, you're welcome.
So basically, like, you never want to do the weapons. You want to have, like, Spirit Blast. You have the option, but nobody ever touches it. I see. Abandoned. Dragon Ball Z Kai show. I never got into Dragon Ball Z, but I've always, like, watched snippets of it. I don't know the difference between Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Blue, or whatever the most recent one was. We're moving on to Paladin. This is actually interesting. I know kind of generally this stuff, but I also kind of like don't know generally this stuff.
Boy, I love the smell of justice in the morning. There's nothing more satisfying than knowing the good name of Sword and Shield has traveled so far and wide that not even the Pokemon games are free from their incredible, awesome influence. And it's about time, too. You think I created this series to entertain and inform ignorant whelps of great hobbies their miserable lives are missing out on? Fuck no, it was to enforce the mighty name of the one true weapon pairing that triumphs all others. And if anyone were to step out of line, I'd bring down the wrath of which tear-ass children tell their parents to scare them before bedtime. And then collect the aftermath of the pants they all shit because it makes for great fertilizer. Welcome to a crap guide to D&D.
Look at those dancing guys. Question, I thought that, is this not the case that paladins are just a type of cleric? I might be an idiot. I haven't played that much D&D. This intro's so banger. It's also so much louder than the rest of the video.
Do you want a class that'll instill fright, take up some plate, and keep the goblins in sight? Because you want to make sure they eat this paladin smite! The paladin is the first on a short list of hybrid-style classes, stealing a mix of features from both the fighter and the cleric, meaning it's better at physically painting the walls with blood than a cleric, but more gooder at grammar and spelling than a fighter. But it's
and not the dumb. Have the brain. Priest of cleric. Gotcha. Okay. They're fight. Gotcha. Okay. Not the same. Are like clerics if they wanted to cosplay a fighter. So it's basically just a harder hitting cleric with a better brain than a fighter.
It's also one of the few classes where role-playing becomes somewhat important. What?
Oh?
Role-playing in my role-playing game? They really should have put some kind of warning label somewhere. I'm not submitting to this shit. If I wanted to follow some sort of code, I'd become a pirate so that I could at least plunder some booty while I'm at it. Otherwise...
Why would you play D&D if not to roleplay? Isn't that like part of the fun? Is like having an OC that you really, really like and living out their adventures and in somebody else's story. Who's this? It's Sunny. Oh my gosh, Sunnyception. Look at that, Sunny. Back to me, and now to that, Sunny, and back to me. Okay. Did you know that only 14% of you are subscribed? Well, it helps me out if you subscribe, and it costs $0, so I would appreciate it if you try to do that. And yeah, okay, awesome. Back to the video. Woo!
Fuck you, gods. If you want me to play your game of ethics, you can kiss my shiny plate mail. Alright, fine, just follow the code and don't do anything stupid that'll cause you to lose your paladin privileges, like a spoiled rich kid who's upset that he doesn't get a 4th Maserati to crash. Like the other all-up-in-your-grill-style physical fighting classes, you gain proficiency with every goddamn combat-oriented item in the universe. And yes, that does technically mean that you can optimally play a paladin without a shield and not have to worry about being a less effective contribution to your party, but if you do that, I'm telling you now that you're wrong and I hate you and you're a big, smelly doo-doo head.
That's a very, very well thought-out argument. And, I mean, I got nothing.
The resident big fuck-off bringer of divine justice, your job is to harness the power of holiness or whatever other wacky
is it
power,
a bad
depending
idea
on
to
what
not get a
oath you pick,
shield?
to have everything else die while they bounce off of your full frontal crusade like a turd in the wind.
Oh, so you're
That's true for
tanky.
just about
Gotcha.
every combat-focused class, but the paladin is especially good at it, what with having the aforementioned fighter-cleric combo skill set. You get multiple attacks, channel divinity, a free vaccination, casting abilities, more auras than that one silly anime that nobody likes, which means you'll be so jacked that your mere presence will muscleify abilities, more auras than that one silly anime.
Did he just say that nobody likes JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? What? He actually loves JoJo. It's satire. Oh, okay. Okay. Thank God. Thank God somebody could clear this up. Okay. Favorite part, and why is it part 5?
Anime that nobody likes, which means you'll be so jacked that your mere presence...
Recently, I've actually been thinking part 2 might be my favorite. My tastes have changed. I think the goofiness of part 2 and the pre-stand actually might be more interesting to me nowadays. Part 4, what? That part 4 is actually probably like my least favorite part. I don't know, man. No. Part 1's got to be my least favorite because Jonathan. The problem with Jonathan is that he's a perfect person. He has no character development because he starts perfect, and I think that was him trying to figure out how to write a manga. Josuke is the GOAT. For me, it's part 2 and 5 are kind of on similar terms here. Although there was some weird shit in part 5, and I don't like the Narancia situation. I really didn't like the guy who's the dog boy who controlled the earth. That was a little weird. Kira goated. Kira was a good villain. Especially really easy to hate somebody if when they kill a child. Also, sorry if I'm kind of stumbling over my words a little bit. My brain is like half on, half off.
Presence will muscleify any nearby...
I'm gonna go back up a little bit more.
Than that one silly anime that nobody likes, which means you'll be so jacked that your mere presence will muscleify any nearby ally so that they look like a typical character from said silly anime that nobody likes. And lay on hands, a pool of health you can use to heal yourself or give a single hit point to your ally because that's all they deserve for not letting the rogue check the obviously booby-trapped room first. But we all know the real reason anyone picks Paladin, and that's to never cast any actual spells, but instead use your spell slots to imbue your weapon with various flavors of smite. Because what good is striking down the hair...
Warhammer in my D&D guide for paladins.
And heathens of the realm if it's not in the elemental attacking equivalent of your god sports team colors. You can smite with fire, laser pointers, brain freezes, sick basey
the laser
cheese for everyone.
I wouldn't have gotten this. I would not have gotten this reference if the Oblivion remake didn't like shadow drop a couple months ago.
Sorry, I meant
I never played Oblivion like seriously before this.
Force is what it says.
Force damage, not cheese.
And now you know how to play...
Easy
Wait a minute,
mistake.
what the hell is that noise?
What is that? I'm missing a little detail here. We'll do Ranger and Rogue, and I think that's where we'll leave off. Potentially. Deus Vult. What is Deus Vult? Wait, hold on. Give me some information. Is that like an ability that people use? Deus Vult. Deus Vult. It's Latin. Latin for God wills. You want to watch Warlock? We could watch Warlock. We'll move on to Ranger. Paladins are legit crusader. Ah, crusaders. Warlock is good. Okay, we'll do ranger. And then just for you, I'll skip to warlock. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Just play a fighter with a bow. It's way better.
Really? You can't mean it. He can't mean that. Take it back.
All right, fine. I'll talk
He starts it. No, don't do this.
about the class. Ranger is the other of the bisexual style of
Is that
classes
true?
where it likes fighter, but it also likes druid and flips between the two depending on which one looks cuter at the moment. Hell, it even steals a few things from rogue because it's so
I love
indecisive.
this-
And despite the
the
name
ranger
you're not actually
avatar.
restricted to use any sort of ranged weapon in order to be effective. As far as combat
Whoa.
goes, you get the usual fighter but not really fighter set of features. Fighting style, all weapons, extra attack, spell
alt.
casting, D10 hit die, hey Macarena. From rogues, it steals the ability to channel your inner chameleon and blend into the environment. Except instead of hiding in the shadows and watching where you step, it's
In
more like
plain
putting
sight.
on makeup, so you need to take some time, have a good look in the mirror, maybe look up some tutorials while you're at it, then start over
Really? You can kind of just like stealth yourself in plain sight?
when you realize you were using
They're
the wrong
specifically
shade of
that
foundation.
old.
From druid, it steals some of that being one with nature flavor it's got going on and a whole lot of spells, but not without a few exclusive spells of its own, like having a target explode a bunch of thorns when hit with a ranged attack, plant arrows in the ground and turn them into proximity-based fireworks, except the gunpowder is magic and the lights are bits of enemy brains, and single-handedly the objectively best ranger spell, Swift Quiver, not for the unlimited ammo.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Did I spot it? Is that Snonic? Is that Snonic the hedgehog right there?
Quiver. Not for the unlimited
Very,
ammo,
very,
that's dumb. Nobody
very
keeps track of
cultured.
their arrows anyway, but because it turns your ranged weapon into a rapid-fire machine gun. But Joseph, you said
You guys are telling me this is bad, but that looks really good. Snonic? Sanic?
you don't need to use a ranged weapon to be effective as a ranger. Those all sound like ranged weapon exclusive spells. That may be true, however.
Fuck you.
Anyway, when it comes to
He
actual
just got sad. I assumed he was gonna be like, fuck you, but instead he just got sad.
unique ranger features, you can use the power of racism
No.
to decide what kind of creatures you're going to
Slime.
perform extra potent hate crimes on, and preferred terrain where you
dear.
can pick your favorite environment, and after trotting around picking flowers or litter, depending on what it is, you can become a fantasy Bear Grylls, which is basically real-life Bear Grylls, except with a kobold crew filming you instead. And
You,
if
like,
you
know
worry
the
that
environment,
sounds
so
too
you're buff there?
situational, and that if you picked a forest terrain and the entire campaign took place in the snowy mountains would mean the feature would be more useless than a football player who got tapped on the shoulder and started clutching their knees crying in the fetal position, don't worry.
Wouldn't it be like you should do something more like after like 3 or 4 turns of combat in a new terrain, you actually gain proficiency? Is that kind of what it
You're
is?
right, and it is.
So it doesn't
What
become
isn't situational is
useless?
just about everything else involving the environment. You can sense what kids are trespassing on your lawn and then not have to worry about the weeds that might otherwise slow you down from catching them and giving them a good weapon. When it comes to flavors of the no really trust us, you can totally use melee
You
and
pick
still
one
be
to stick with
useful
it.
class. You have Pokemon Trainer with a gun like rogues but even dodgier,
Wow.
literally
So
a monster
your DM
hunter
can
thinking
kinda
with
fuck you.
portals and pew 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 pew. Alright, let's
Oh,
address the beholder
portal.
in the room. The vanilla incarnation of the ranger has a reputation of being less useful when compared to the other classes due to questionable abilities and how they function. That's
What is that lizard? I liked them a lot.
not to say the class can't be useful or powerful in the right circumstances, but some consider the ranger's situational and sometimes underpowered features to leave something to be desired. However, there's nothing wrong about talking to your DM about changing how certain skills work, if that happens to be the case, so that you can have more fun at your role-playing table. But you know what?
So they're basically so weak that you have to negotiate with your DM. You have to be like, hear me out. What if my character didn't suck? And then your DM can be like, no, fuck you. What? Why don't they fix this?
At the end of the day, it's not about how many numbers you can
so
do
funny.
to the bad guys, but whether or not you can shoot spikes out of the ground while firing bolts from your heavy crossbow atop a feathered velociraptor. And
What? You can't tell me this is bad.
now you know how to play ranger. You're welcome.
This is possible? This can happen? This sounds kind of great. Like, if we're being honest. It unfortunately is. No, fortunately it is. Very fortunate. Alright, let's do Warlock. I promised Warlock. Do we want to just watch Rogue, Sorcerer, and then get to Warlock? We'll remember we watched Warlock. It'll be in my watched. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Wow, strong opening on this one. Sunny's new character is going to be Ranger. Look at these dogs. Holy.
Hey you sitting there with your saggy butt cheeks and emotionless expression. I know what you're thinking.
Me?
Boy, I wish I could cast spells, but
Well,
all I got
fuck.
is an expendable firstborn child and a willingness to work under a questionably immoral arcane master till the end of time.
Whatever shall I do?
Well, that's just the exact sort of motivation we like for our employees at EDB
Eldritch,
Incorporated.
Eldritch builds. Oh, yeah?
And if you sign up with us, we'll be sure you're treated in a way that you deserve for assisting in furthering our goals to bring about the ruin of the entire multiverse. All I need you to
This sounds awesome. Where do I
is sign
sign?
here and agree to give us
Eternal servitude of your mortal soul.
Signed. All right. I'm so excited to be here. Contract of Eldritch Soul Binding Agreement. Butts. Offer monthly baby hands. Eternal servitude. Must be pantsless. Praise daily. Benefits. Undeath. Exposure. Like to the elements. That's Sunny's Glitch Stars contract. I am allowed to read my Glitch Stars contract live on stream anytime I would like. Which is why I'm reading it right now. My benefits are undeath, exposure, dental, outdoor time, 300 over times 3 overtime over 4. Wait, what? Wait, this is better than my day job. I get times 3 payment for overtime over 40 hours and times 5 over 50? What? I'm signing this. Praise daily and a couple baby hands and I get... Dude, I'm working 80 hours a week. Let me sign. I'm working weekends. I'm retiring when I'm like 38. Dental? Okay, the dental's pretty basic. This is a great... Like, I don't think he understands. My mortal soul is worth this. Holy shit.
and agree to give. But on the bright side, we have dental. Welcome to a crap guide to D&D.
We have dental. I noticed the dental.
So you want to use magic, but only as much as you want to hug that one family member you keep seeing at reunions, but aren't quite sure how you're related. Then you may
It happens. I have a lot of those.
want to be a warlock, the fake gamers of the
cousin-
Forgotten Realms. How
cousin
warlocks
removed.
differ from the other casters is that the amount of times you can cast your spells before running out of spell slots is absolute shit. Instead of
You get,
having
like,
a set
5?
number of spells for
Oh!
each level of spell slot, you get a maximum of 4 spell slots for all your spells up to 5th level, and that's it. And a few other ones, but nobody cares about those. The flip side
Really?
is that the spells you cast are always at their max level, and instead of having to take a long rest to get those slots back, all you need is an hour to have a wank, have a biscuit, and you're back on your feet. But you know what?
I didn't know. I didn't know they recharged by wanking. Very good.
But fuck real spells. You may think you're a caster, but really picking this class is purely an excuse to do nothing but cast everyone's favorite cantrip, Eldritch.
So okay. You can level up spells usually. Everyone else has to level up spells, but you just have 4 extreme blasts. You have 4 and then no, so that's not how that works. You have 4 strong ones. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, exactly. You get 4 big nuts. And then you're completely out of nut at max level. So no. Okay, he explains it again. Got it.
Cast it at weddings, funerals, beach parties. Or you can just cast it randomly because the party's taking 5 hours to buy a single dagger from the shopkeeper and you're bored. Aside from casting nothing but Eldritch all
real.
day, the main draw of the Warlock is the fact that it's the greatest game of
cantrip
dress-up
for
dolls
Eldritch
of all
Blast?
time. Eldritch invocations allow you to custom tailor your Warlock so that it suits you better than my form-fit Kieran assless chaps.
I did point out the chaps earlier. I didn't know they were assless. I noticed they were crotchless.
You can talk to animals without needing to cast a spell, go straight up invisible whenever you want, but most importantly, there are invocations that allow you to customize your Eldritch so that whenever you shoot your gobbledygook at whatever poor sap that looked at you funny, you can pull them forward and do your best scorpion impression, snipe them from 2 blocks away, or make the beam of arcane destruction smell like strawberries if you like. But it's
that
not all
sounds so
fun in
nice.
Eldritch because remember, you've signed a pact with a patron, so your power is being loaned to you from an all-powerful arcane sugar daddy. So you
Damn, can you get me the contact?
will have to pay interest if you want to make sure all that magic stays nicely tucked into your Eldritch sack. Luckily, they're not like bank loans because you can actually pay them off and they're not always inherently evil. You have the
No, this is too real. You can actually pay them off. The expectation that you can pay off your debt still exists here. Very nice.
choice of being bossed around by a literal devil who decided to make you their favorite person, so they're gonna be your mommy for a little bit. A skeleton who ironically refuses to let you die because you still owe him 2 platinum. Fairies who are just straight up assholes. God, so you're basically a cleric now. Literally
Gods.
Cthulhu. But forget all those because the only real option
So there's like a set amount of like basically patrons that you can say, right? You can be like, hey, I've got the god guy, I've got a Fey contract, and the contracts you have, do they impact your gameplay or are they just like backstory-ish?
option is to have your patron be a magically possessed sentient sword and shield that yells fuck when you swing it. Basically, you have such a huge amount of options to choose from with how you build your warlock, it's very unlikely any 2 warlocks will be the same. So get your shopping baskets, light some candles, have fun customizing
Not the little bear in the summoning circle.
Oh, and remember, you have to sacrifice 3 more babies by the end of the week, or you're fired! And now
What happens if you get fired?
you know how to play warlock. You're...
What happens when you get fired? Do you die? So, I still don't understand. At max level, you only have 4 spell slots. So, like, your spell slots aren't more powerful than anybody else. You actually just have a small amount of spell slots. Unusually small. So, but you have Eldritch Blast, and that's a cantrip, and this is like... This makes it normal? This is okay. Like, basically, you are an Eldritch Blast bot. Very fascinating. Spell slots are stronger than most other slots, kind of, considering the highest level for your spellcasting level. This is your ranged weapon. So, but you can also be a sword. You can be like a little sword? That's kind of crazy. Okay, I do want to watch Rogue. We're just going to watch it because I'm here, and that's... Why not? We'll fill in some of these blanks. We can watch a few more. I'm enjoying them. I'm asking questions now. We're getting into it.
Ever since I was a child, I had to grow up on the streets,
It was
wrestling
so dark.
alley bears for food,
Damn.
and fighting guards for my own freedom.
Oh,
It
I was
in
gonna
those
say, like, I
streets
relate, but
that
not
I knew
really.
I couldn't trust anyone but myself. Understand all the pain and suffering I've had to endure to...
All right then, I'll see you later.
Wait, no, you were supposed to be deeply interested and ask me more about my backstory.
Wait! My inquiry fishing didn't work! That's like when you get a DM from a friend who's like, you don't talk to very much, and they're like, I'm just, how are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm doing good. This is what I did today. And they're like, oh, that's great. And I'm like, how are you doing? They're like, I'm doing so terrible. I'm like, oh, okay, what happened? I played a rogue whose entire stake was he was illiterate and couldn't read to keep out signs, which is why he was a rogue. That's so funny. Energy vampire is right. Although it's fine to be, have some days where you're not getting along with everybody.
You know what? I'm tired of being another cog in the machine of an adventuring party. I'm going off on my own, following my own creed and doing what needs to be done. That's right, I'm going rogue.
Going rogue.
Rogues are the sneaky, savvy, skilly, willy utility monkeys of the Forgotten Realms, and the best pick if you're a backseat
This video is quieter than the other ones.
gamer, since it lets you interrupt someone trying their best because they weren't doing it right. However, if you want to Mary Sue it up even more than you already are, you also get expertise so that you can upgrade those proficiencies to anime protagonist levels of ridiculous. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds a lot like Bard. And while that's partly true, the difference is rogues aren't automatically assumed to be the comic relief. Instead, they're...
And you're not expected to be horny, I assume, is your character type is supposed to be a brooding type and not horny.
Deep, dark, and brooding, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, holidays
excluded because who could be grumpy on Christmas?
This is me at my day job. My brooding backstory.
The main difference is their unique combat feature, the sneak attack. And because the names in D&D are always inaccurate, you don't actually have to be low to the ground and covered in shit to deal the sneak attack bonus damage, but rather anytime the enemy's just not feeling up to it today and just wants to get it over with. This means if the enemy's being flanked, or if they're laying prone on the ground, or they just bragged about how high their IQ is, things that would make them really easy to stab.
Oh my god, if anyone ever told me, you want to hear my IQ test result? The answer is fucking no. I don't.
Are incidentally not very easy to stab, since you have a whopping 4 goddamn features dedicated to make you more difficult to pin down than figuring out if that teasing banter you had with your friend actually hurt their feelings or not.
Oh no, did I cross a line?
You can dodge when it's your turn, dodge when it's not your turn, dodge a giant ball of fire, and even dodge having to pay the bill on a first date.
You can dodge anything.
Especially unique trait of the rogue is their exclusive language, thieves can't. Thieves can't what? I don't have the slightest clue, because it allows you to say a whole bunch of jargon that somehow translates into a completely different sentence. Timmy's having tea with the
wait, hold on, what was that sentence?
Because it allows you to say a whole bunch of jargon that somehow translates into
goblins do stuff like that. You said doo-doo.
To a completely different sentence. Timmy's having tea with the local blacksmith actually means let's go to the temple and steal some of the cleric's donations. Speaking of stealing, the thief archetype means you're especially fast at doing thiefy things.
Sonic!
It's like picking locks, chugging potions, and parkour. Assassin makes your stabs extra stabby, and you can stab while disguising yourself as a child you saw who you can point to later and say they did it. Arcane Trickster basically...
Oh, so you can kind of just... mimic people.
Basically turns you into a bard, except less talented or attractive, and allows you to hocus pocus somebody's wallet from 3 miles away. Mastermind is straight up Sherlock Holmes, complete with the assholery and catchy theme music. Swashbuckler won't stop bugging people to 1v1 them. And Scout, which is yet another better alternative to Ranger.
One of my favorite things to do, speaking of stealing wallets, my favorite things, well, I don't steal wallets, but in Baldur's Gate was to make somebody drop their weapon, go over, pick it up, and be like, now what? Like, your move. What are you gonna do? Sure you don't. I don't steal any wallets, ever.
Job is to make...
Ever, okay? I don't ever do that. I say convincingly. The more I say it, the more convincing it becomes. Have you seen my wallet? I don't know where that went. Coretta, where did that go? Coretta, where is it? I don't... Shinobi, what did you do? He said get yoinked. It was Shinobi yoinking.
Ranger. Your job is to make sure everybody knows how much better you are at doing everything. Because when the going gets tough, you know the party's going to turn to you one day and ask you to please pick the lock on the door to the king's castle because the bard accidentally kicked the guard in the genitals trying to seduce them. And you'll gladly show them all the skills you've learned from
growing up in such a harsh and unforgiving environment that was once your home, forcing you to learn questionable means and morally ambivalent beliefs in order to survive.
Just try not to cut yourself on that edge while you're at it. And now you know how to play rogue. You're welcome.
Yep, that's kind of how I expected. I mean, I do like, I feel like this is an easy meme. Like, you can easily meme this type of archetype of exactly how he memed it here, but I feel like a lot of people probably sign up to be a comic relief rogue because it's easy to subvert the expectation, and you're supposed to be this goofy, well, not goofy, this serious guy, but when someone's supposed to be super serious, it's easy to meme on them, eh? Batman, if he was the Lego version. I'm Batman. Batman, that worked a lot easier when... way back when.
Magic is...
Alright, so we're moving on to sorcerer, and this is gonna be the last one, okay?
Magic is dumb and stupid and makes no sense, and my brain hurts the more I try to figure out how it works. Except when bards use it, because bards are cool and mages are lame with their colorful flowy robes and giant obnoxiously fashionable hats. No, I'm not jealous, shut up. At the very least, though, most of them work hard for their magical abilities. Some of them...
Bring back cool fashion in the real world.
Cultivating it through skill and experience, others answering to a higher power, some having a codependent relationship with the arcane, and some lucky enough to have their parents bang a mystical creature and receive a small genetic loan of 1,000,000 mana. Well,
what? Donkey! What have you done? You fucked the dragon.
Welcome to a crap guide to D&D.
I will say, the reason why we don't dress cool is because it is hard to make, like, old-timey or classic fashion in good quality. These things would look fine if we actually had, like, if the quality of the fabric wasn't like a costume. It wasn't like costume stuff. Donkey could take the dragon. He could. We know this.
Get your stupid hats ready. It's time for the casters, where your weapons suck, your armor suck, and your martial skills are closer to that of the average D&D player. Instead, you'll be relying on the mystical, magnificent mass of magics. Except in this case, not really relying on, and more like bullying it into doing what you want. Sorcerers are those who disrespect the rules of magic and can easily manipulate it, like it's some young adult who's desperate for food that isn't microwaved or takeout. Maybe that's why your hit die is the one used for Monopoly games. That's right, a pathetic D6, which likely means the DM won't have to do much to make you piss your pants in fear.
Oh? So you can kind of just... You can't really change the rules of the game.
The Cirque du Soleil's metamagic feature means you can enhance the spells you cast by paying off the essence of arcane with the inheritance money you got from your magical parents, and allows you to influence your spells to take on a variety of effects to your liking. Its effects include, but are not limited to, biased AoEs, angry AoEs, spells that gotta go fast, say, "Nuh-uh, I totally got you, I hit your shirt, clothing counts," get an extended spell warranty, double penetration, or even cast with the sound of your armpit farts if you don't feel like talking that day. And you can do all that and more by using your sorcery points, which has got to be the two most absolutely nerdiest words you could ever put together in a single phrase. It's also a weirdly effective safe word because it allows your magical BDSM...
That was a cursed pause. Whoa. Hold on.
Your magical BDSM to stop so your spell slots can catch their breath and recover. With archetypes, you have squishy clerics, zippy zappy, casty blasty, watch for the lightning, it gets nasty. Darkness, scaly and denial, and the only one that really matters, the Wheel of Wild Magic!
I might have picked blood like the Dragonborn, but I'm not a furry in denial.
Where you and whatever other lucky souls nearby get to experience the high-octane thrills of randomness. Think your pathetic magic missile just won't cut it? Don't worry, with the right kind of luck, it could suddenly open up a one-way portal to the fire planes. Who knows what crazy helpful and/or harmful effects could happen due to your gambling addiction?
I definitely read piss milk in that list.
Let's spin that wheel and see how wild we can get!
I may have spun it a little bit too hard because of my stonkingly huge muscles, so we'll just let that go for a while. Now, the main difference between the three arcane casters is how they get their magic. While wizards take years studying for the ACT and warlocks keep having to pay interest to their demon lord shareholders, sorcerer's magic comes from the fact that they were born inherently talented instead of needing to do any actual work. That's why your casting
I hate that.
ability is charisma, because we totally need more of those, and just because you can cast spells doesn't necessarily mean you're smart. But who cares what's smart when you can cast big spells with big effects, so your big numbers can turn the big baddies into big piles of giblety experience points. Insert fireball joke. And now you know how to play sorcerer, you're welcome.
Turn into a potted plant.
Shit.
Why would you have this in your arsenal? Why would that be an option? Can I get an explanation on why that happens? Even the outro. Oh my god, he's a potted plant here! He really committed to this bit. Wild magic search. Okay, so you can just wild magic, just do anything. Holy crap, these were a lot of fun. I can't believe we watched so many, actually. This was probably kind of a lot of time.